Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I am going to go over tonight's 9-game NHL DFS slate. It's a Thursday, so we get the bigger ones on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to do the same thing that I did. Let me look at this. I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. Yesterday, we ran a bit of an experiment using SaberSim's updated model for DFS hockey. And in the updated model, they've given more strength to the even strength lines, more correlation than before. So in the past, it had a penchant for giving you more power play players, and it had more correlation with the power play guys. Now, as you'll see, it's a little bit more even. So like if we open up McKinnon here, it's a little slow, but you start to see that McKinnon's correlation with the power play guys that he's on is going to be real strong, but he's also going to have strong correlations here with his even strength guys. So that's changed a lot. And so the question we ask is because I like to run onslaught stacks, but when you run onslaught stacks, that's because you tend to be playing the power play, the 5-man power play for the 5-man stack. And the question was, were we going to get those in SaberSim? Because we used to get them anyway. And so I would just build with them. And the question we asked yesterday is, are we going to get them given that the model is now giving more weight to even strength lines? Or are we going to get more 4-3s, 3-3-2s, and so on? And I think what we found is that our highest ROI lineups were still the 5-man stacks. But everything in DFS is an it depends. And it depends on the slate, and it depends on the pricing of that slate. It depends on the size of the slate and the size of the contest. So I think it's worth just doing the experiment again. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build lineups out of the box using SaberSim for my single entry that has about 150, 160 people in the pool, and we'll see what happens. And then after seeing what our highest ROI lineups and how many 4-3s versus onslaughts we get, or even 3-3s, we'll see which ones grade out the best. And then if we build more in our pool of the onslaughts, we'll see if we could get to those higher grades in the sim ROI in the next round. And then it'll maybe start to tell us that the intuition remains correct, that the onslaughts grade better. And just like we wanted to see things grade well in our post-lock sims using SaberSim in the past, now that, I think the model is even stronger and they've done more work on it in a couple areas, then we could be even a little more confident in how we grade post-lock. So let's do that. I'm playing the high-stakes single entry. So I'm going to use that ownership to build my lineups. And you got to make 2 changes for DraftKings lets you go. And got the sliders as is, a lot of correlation still. And we build. Quick and easy. See how long it takes, though. Hopefully it should be quick. I didn't see a lot of news on tonight's slate. Let's see if we go to the game day news on Twitter. Dickinson for the Blackhawks. I don't think the Blackhawks played last night. Connor Ingram starting. Lawson Krause is in. Michelli's out. That's worth noting. Let's see what we got. We're almost there. I'm not going to go through all the news. I looked a little bit earlier. There's nothing too critical that we aren't going to get or are going to need to look for right before lock or anything. If you don't like looking before lock, though, or after lock to see what the hell happened, don't play NBA tonight. It's bad enough in a normal night. Now we got the trade deadline. So now let's run contest sim. Let's just take a look at like what our top 10 and top 20 lineups are and how they grade. All right. Let's see our top lineup right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Floridas. I mean, 6-man Florida onslaught, highest ROI lineup. Let's go to our top 10 and see what the stacks look like. So in our top 10 lineups, it's 80% are still giving you the onslaughts, despite the favorability of the even strength. That makes sense to me. I've made the case for why I like the 5 and 6 mans. I think SaberSim does as well. And that's actually another reason why I like it, because they like it. SaberSim does great work. I mean, the other thing you got to look here, like 10% of our pool is 4 3s. 3.5 is 4 2 2s. So a lot of the 3-man stuff, a lot of the 4 2s, more of the 4s than the 5s, and close to the 5 2s. Only 2.5% are the onslaught. So even without a lot to choose from, those are still bubbling up to the top. I mean, I honestly, I don't think what I was going to do was rerun the experiment, just building, 4-mans and 5-man and 6-mans so they're represented evenly, and then see. Because when we did that last time, we found out that our highest graded lineups were still the onslaughts, despite some more representations from the 4s and the 3s in the top 10 on the first run. It was just because we had more of them in our pool for it to choose from. But when we gave it more opportunity to find onslaughts, it graded them well, higher than the 4-mans. Now here we don't even need to do that on this 9-game slate. So I don't know. I mean, so I'm going to go through my process as is. I mean, I'm confident that at least if you trust SaberSim, that you're going to get to these big stacks. So let's see if we rerun this. Let's see what teams we got, actually. So who are our 5-man and 6-man? You get Washington, Florida, Columbus, Washington onslaught, Florida, Columbus. So 4 different teams showing up there. Let's see what the delta ROI. Our top ROI lineup is 87.6. Our 10th best, 70. So it actually goes down quite a bit between the top ROI and the 10th. So that's something to think about. You may not want to go too low in your pool. Let's see if we re-rack it. Run the simulation again. Let's see what happens with variance. Let's see where this top lineup shows up. Not as the top. Is it in the top 10? We'll see. So got Columbus there. Graded at 101 ROI. So you get a lot of variation in the sims. Columbus. Washington. Here you go. So now this Florida, it's a little bit of rerunning it. Hit a very similar ROI, but some other lineups just binked more. There you go. But you're getting a pretty robust, at least pre-sim process ROI on this Florida stack. So, I mean, we could just stop here and pick which one we want to play. I wouldn't go down to the 10th lineup. Let's see. But in the 10th, we're giving up. Here it goes from 101 to 78, giving up, 22, 23 percentage points of ROI. Probably wouldn't do that. But I would play any of these, like up to the Florida. But let's build. Let's see. Let's see how high we can get there. We got to 101. Let's see if we just build onslaughts. if we get some real outliers in there. Let's see if we don't play onslaughts, what our ceiling ROI would be. So let's do this twice. Remember, this is for the small field stuff. How it applies when you're playing larger fields will change. But let's see now if we rebuild them. This might be a little bit slower to build as we constrain the builder a little. Let's see anyone in chat? No. I don't have two monitors, so I gotta look at my phone. Yeah, look how slow it's going. Well, we'll see. We'll see if we get to 5,000. We don't necessarily need to, especially for our purposes here. See anyone say anything in Discord? Not at the moment. We're all missing lulls for this. You guys got it here. Ready to go after. If you are new to DFS, if you're watching this learning, just playing hockey, don't follow the industry as much, lulls is like the weekly show of the DFS industry that you gotta watch. All right, I'm not gonna bore you. So let's stop it here at 2,000. Let's see if we could get better ceiling ROI if we just let it choose from thousands of 2,000 onslaughts. I mean, this would have been 20% of our 5K, 10%, a little less than 10%, a little more, 15%. So let's see what happens. Then we're going to do the opposite. Then we're going to not let it build onslaughts. And then we're going to see what kind of ceiling ROI we can get. Let's see if we could beat the 101. If we give it 2,000 5 and 6 mans to choose from. All right, Washington with Nathan McKinnon. Forbort, the cheap D in the util. 112. Let's see how far down. We can go 109, 98. Is that the same Florida? No. Close to it. We're not going to have the same. So, I mean, there we go. If we want our ceiling ROIs, at least in SaberSim, it sure looks like the onslaughts are the way to go. But let's see what our highest ROI is. If we nix the onslaughts, we don't want no stacks either. We'll keep the 3s. We're never going to play the 2s. Now let's rebuild. Shouldn't be too constraining. I mean, we're giving it way more options, so it should go faster. We'll try and get 2,000 to keep the experiment having the same size pool to choose from. But actually, if we have a bigger pool, it should be even easier to get to better lineups. We'll see if we do. I mean, I imagine we're going to get something in the 100 here. That's just my guess. Only because there's 5,000 to choose from. Over twice as many than the onslaughts we built, given the time constraint. If I was doing it before lock, I would have let that go to 5,000. Right, run the sims. Let's see what our highest ROI non-onslaughts come out to. I'm going to guess. Let's see. Let's guess before we look. We had our highest ROIs with onslaughts in every iteration of this experiment. And our highest formats, I don't know what they were. They were in the 70s maybe, ROI. But now we built 5,000. We have way more to choose from. I guess we get into the 90s here. Oop, 100. There we go. Let's see how far we have to go to get below 90. Just one, 88. So it still stands and still goes to show that your best bet at ceiling ROI in the pre-lock sims, given what SaberSim thinks the field is going to do in, at least in the high stakes single entry, is to go with the 5-mans or the 6-mans. And intuitively, I think it's right too. So that's how I'm going to play it. I'm not going to use these. I'm going to scrap it. I'm going to rebuild right before lock and enter it in and wish me luck. I wish you luck. If you like content like this and you want to get more, like and subscribe and come join us. You could get all kinds of packages where you get access to SaberSim for just about the same price as a normal SaberSim subscription. But then you get Sheets' projections and Goldie's projections, which aside from them being really sharp projections, they make you a lot different than all the other SaberSim users. And then there's premium content in Discord, and we're always chopping it up, talking DFS, talking strategy. So head over to TrueDFS.com, join us. And if not, at least like and subscribe because we want to have you along as we do more content like this. And good luck on tonight's slate.